Hey guys, welcome back to another impressions video, and today we're gonna take a look at this game right here, Fantasy Life for the Nintendo 3DS. This is an RPG developed and published by Level 5 in Japan some time ago already. I believe a year or two ago. This game came out in Japan, and thankfully Nintendo decided to pick up the tab and do the translation and localize the game and bring it over to the West. So Nintendo is the publisher for this game here in this region, and I'm really glad they did, and better late than never, because this is a fantastic game that I'm enjoying every single second of it. And this is going to be a little bit of a different impressions video, because I beat the games before I do my impressions video, but in this case I have not completed Fantasy Life yet, and in fact I'm still a long way to go. I have put 25 hours in, which is a lot for some games. For Fantasy Life, that's just scratching the surface. So I decided to make an impressions video because I think I have a good handle on the core of the game, the gameplay and some of the other things. And also the holiday season is coming up, and I really want to put a good word out there for this game. I really want, if you guys are interested, go out there, support and get this game. Or if you're thinking about gift ideas for the holiday season or whatever, this is a fantastic game that I really want to put a good word out there and recommend it to just about anybody, especially if you like RPGs. But let's start with the story. I'm going to be very brief about it because I'm very early into the game, even though I already put 25 hours in. But the story, basically, you play as a character that you create. You can choose the appearance of your character, the hair color, and all things like that. There is a very a broad selection of things that you can use to create your avatar at the beginning of the game. But essentially, you create a character that starts his life in a town in the kingdom of Reveria. And basically what happens is all these meteors start falling in Reveria, and these meteors are known as the Doomstones. And the Doomstones are basically creating this like crazy effect that is affecting the creatures that live in the kingdom of Reveria. So the king decides to send you to investigate these strange happenings and figure out what the heck is going on. So that's the story in a nutshell. And even though I have not obviously finished the game, I did hear from other people that the story, it's never really the strong point of the game. The strongest point in the game is the gameplay, and which is why I am still in chapter 3. Even though I'm like 26 hours into the game, I'm still in chapter 3, which is extremely early into the game. And the reason being is the gameplay in this game is extremely addicting. If you guys enjoy doing side quests in RPGs and things like that, you're gonna feel right at home in this game. I'm gonna talk, before I delve into the meat and potatoes, which is the gameplay. I guess I'll quickly talk about the graphics and the sound. Graphics are pretty good. The game is basically looks very cute and charming in a way. The characters have huge heads. They look like bobbleheads, basically, with huge heads and small bodies. But I think the charm of the game relies in the scenery. The town is very detailed, and the town is very varied. There are plains, mountains, port areas, water areas, grassy plains, and there's just a big variety of settings in the game that they all look very colorful and very detailed. When you go inside the buildings in the towns, for example, you're gonna see the furniture with like books on top of it and things like that. Very detailed, very fun and pleasant to look at. The 3D effect is nothing special, so basically I'm playing the game without the 3D effect on. The sound is it's actually pretty good. The soundtrack is very calm, very very pleasant to listen to, and they did a very good job. No voice acting in this game, which is understandable because there is a ton of dialogue in this game that comes through obviously text boxes. And let me say that this game, the translation, which was done by Nintendo Treehouse, it's phenomenal. There is a lot of humor, It's very easy to understand, very easy to read, and very, like I said, there's a sense of humor that it's basically dedicated to like the Western audiences. There's a lot of jokes and things like that that are only catered towards our region. So they definitely did a good job of trying to create a personality for the game. Now I do have to say that get ready to read a lot in this game. There is a lot of text, or especially early in the game. So be ready to spend a lot of time just reading. And the problem is that the reading in this game is very important, because I think it's part of the personality of the game itself. And you guys will understand if you own this game what I mean. The game has a ton of NPC characters that they all like to talk a lot. So it could be a negative for a few people, but for me personally, I found myself enjoying this game. So I guess if you guys have experience with visual novels, and you guys are if you guys can handle reading a lot of text, then that is not gonna bother you too much. But the gameplay, let's talk a little bit about the gameplay. This is the essential part of the game, and it's really hard to explain Fantasy Life, and especially compare it to other games. It's really a combination of Animal Crossing with The Legend of Zelda, with Dragon Quest, everything blended together, and the end product is something that it's very, very unique. For me personally, I have never played any game, whether it's an RPG or any other type of game, that it's similar to this. If you guys have, let me know in the comments, because I would be very curious to see what other games are similar to this. But for me personally, this feels like a very unique game. And but essentially you can pick right at the beginning of the game, you have to pick a life, which is essentially work. And I started working as a paladin, which is essentially you work for the Kingdom of Reveria, and you have to basically defend the interests of the king. So you may have missions that relate to, you have to eliminate the bandits that are in the outskirts of the town, or you have to defeat certain monsters and things like that. And you level up. As you level up, you learn new skills. Now the combat system is this is basically like an action RPG, if you will, very similar to the over-the-top Legend of Zelda games. You just push your A button to do the attack, and the paladins, for example, they have a sword and a shield, so you're able to block the attacks from enemies, and then you're able to use your short sword to inflict damage. If you play as a mercenary, for example, you have a long sword, which is basically a two-handed sword, so you can't really block, but your attacks deal much more damage. Then you can play as, for example, as a hunter, and you have a bow and arrow, so you can do long-range attacks, but the downside is that the long-range attacks are not as powerful. You can play as a wizard, and you can shoot magic, things like that. A lot of different ways to approach as far as the attacking. And like I mentioned, as you level up, you learn new skills. And the charm and the unique part of this game is that it's basically divided into three main sections. You have side quests that relate to your life or your work. And then you have side quests that relate to the main story, that you have to complete those quests, not side quests, but quests in order to progress through the story. And then the final part is the quests that are requested by the NPCs in the town. So they might ask you, hey, I would like to, can you bring me 5 apples and I'll give you some money, or I'll give you these items. So you have to go and search for apples, shake trees and get apples. Or somebody may ask you, hey, I would like to have a bronze shield, and can you get one for me? So you have to either craft one or buy one from a vendor, and then basically give it away to that person. So you have these three different branches, I guess, if you will, and one of them is the story progression, and the other 2 are optional, but they're very important, because one of them allows you to level up your life character. And for example, if you play as a mercenary, you have your long sword, And as you learn new skills, you can do a charge attack, which is similar to like the Zelda attacks, where you spin and with your sword and attack that way. And you have different attacks that definitely come in handy, because the game, for the most part, is not very challenging, but it can get very challenging if you don't allow to balance your leveling up the characters. Now, for me, I started playing as a paladin, and I did the first 2 chapters as a paladin, and then I switched my job to, what was it? It was the woodcutter, I think. Yeah, I became a woodcutter, which essentially you go out in the woods and you chop the trees and you get the material for to forge new weapons. But the thing is, in order to forge those weapons with the materials you gather, you have to become a carpenter. When you become a carpenter, you can use the wood to either create new furniture for your house. You can decorate your house, or also I became a what is it called? A miner. So you go to the mines and you gather materials, stones, iron. When you have iron, you can forge new and more powerful swords and things like that. Switching lives, it's very easy. It's very all you have to do is go to this office in the main town, talk to this character, and you become, you earn your title as a new life. So the main draw in this game is how everything blends together so well. You get the wood from the trees, you can create new furniture, you can sell the furniture to make money, or you can give the furniture to people that are requesting. Maybe you will have an NPC that wants a new chair for their house, or you can craft furniture for your own place. If you are a miner and you went to a dungeon and you bring some iron, you can forge a new sword. But in order to forge a new sword, you have to become a blacksmith. And the more you play as a blacksmith, the more skills you learn, and you're able to forge better equipment. But in order to forge better equipment, you need better materials, and so on. It's a very balanced system that really pays off. And for me personally, that's why I'm still stuck in chapter 3, because basically I'm leveling up each job or each life to the adept rank. I think you start as a novice, and then you move on as an apprentice, and then you move from apprentice to adept. And it takes a while. It takes, I would say, 2 or 3 hours for each life to reach that apprentice rank by completing different tasks, and you have to report to your master. Each life has its own master, and each master has its own story. So you basically, every time you pick a new life and you start from the beginning, you have this tutorial type of mission that it's different for each master you get, and it's really enjoyable just getting to learn the side story of each life or each work that you get in the game. So essentially everything blends together. Other types of jobs that you can get are, for example, you can be an alchemist and you can combine different types of products to create new products. You can be a tailor, I think, so you can create clothing. I'm assuming maybe you can create armor. I have not tried that life yet, but again, lives like blacksmith and woodcutter and are very essential to the game. So I would definitely recommend, if you guys play this, to at least have 3 or 4 lives at, leveling up all of them at the same time, so that way when you gather materials, you're able to forge something and use it on your, I guess, attacking class, which is the paladin, the mercenary, or the hunter. And like I said, the combat is always action based. There's no like turn based or anything like that. It's very simple, pick up to play, and it's extremely addicting. If you guys enjoy doing side quests in RPGs, this is your game right here. Just go out there and buy it right now. And again, I'm still in chapter 3, 25 hours in. I can easily see myself putting 80, 100 hours. I was reading some people were putting 50, 60 hours, and they're not even close to finishing the game. But again, the good news is that you don't have to do that. You can just pick 1 or 2 lives, level that up, and go through the story. But again, the charm and the fun of the game relies in doing the side quests and just trying the different lives in the game and doing the different jobs and helping other NPCs out, and at the same time progress throughout in the story of the game, and everything blends incredibly well in this game. So I would definitely recommend this. The game also has online co-op. Unfortunately, the game also has DLC content, which I bought, and from what I read, it's very much worth it. Basically, if you buy the DLC of the game, once you beat the game, there's a lot of post-game content. There's an island that opens up that supposedly, if you were to complete every single quest in that island, it's close to 50 hours. So the DLC content is like $8. If you pay $8 and you get 50 more hours of content, then that's incredible. Another cool thing about the DLC is that it introduces a friendship system, which means that people that you add to your party can become more attached to you. The more you interact with those people, the more they're gonna like you, and they're gonna perform better in battles. So that friendship system is only available through the DLC. So I would say if you guys buy this game and you're enjoying it, buy the DLC as soon as possible, because it introduces a lot of things like new items and the friendship system. And of course, when you beat the game, you have the post-game content that adds a lot of hours into the game. Now, the drawback of the DLC content is if you buy the DLC and you want to play online co-op with a friend, your friend also has to have the DLC. So right now I have the DLC. If you guys don't have the DLC right now, you cannot play with me. A very strange and I guess stupid system. It limits what you can do in a way, but so far I have not played this game online. I don't know how it works. I've been using the I guess the characters that the AI controls for your party. You can have pets. You can buy pets in this game, and I have one of my pets in my party. It's a dog, and the more you use your dog, the stronger he gets, and the stronger his attacks are, and things like that. So overall, Fantasy Life, if you guys enjoy RPGs, I would say give this one a shot, because it's very unique, and again, I don't think there's anything remotely similar to this. And I'm really glad that Nintendo decided to publish this, and in my opinion, if we support games like this, we will maybe get more things like this here in our region, here in North America. So hopefully this game performs well, because I would love to see more games being localized. So again, Fantasy Life, a very interesting, very unique, and very, very addicting RPG that I cannot say good enough things about this game. So if you like RPGs, go and buy it right now. And that's it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Take it easy, and I will see you all later.